Recently, there's been like a lot of heat on Mike Mcdaniel, the coach of the Miami Dolphins. Some people say he's on the hot seat. I don't really agree with it. I think that before Mike McDaniel came there, the offense and the team in general was just not really that good. Obviously, in free agency, obviously they was able to get Tyreek Hill from the Chiefs, and obviously they drafted Jalen Waddle. They got a good quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa, but their offense has been like the main reason why they've been successful over the last few years. But I like to do cross comparisons between different sports. So in this particular case, I'm going to make a hot take. I'm going to say that Mike McDaniel is kind of similar. He's the NFL version of Mike D'Antoni of the NBA. And everybody that knows the NBA, they know that when Mike D'Antoni first came on the scene as a coach, he was implementing the 7 seconds or fewer like that. That's the way they played with the Phoenix Suns, and it was very successful for them in the regular season. But in playoff times, and like when teams actually could they could prepare for you guys, it didn't really work as well. So whenever they would meet the Spurs in the playoffs, the Lakers in the playoffs, and teams like that were really good and they had good coaches and everything, they would get bounced. So I'm going to say that Mike McDaniels, he's kind of similar just because of the fact that like Mike D'Antoni coaching the Suns was very successful and the offense was going crazy in the regular season, but somehow in the playoffs he never could make it past a certain point. And some would argue that his coaching wasn't really what made them successful. It was more so like the players, because at his peak he had two-time MVP Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Boris Diaw, Sean Marion, those kind of players that helped him achieve the status that he did. And the same thing could be argued about Mike McDaniels, who, like I said before, Tyreek Hill, one of the best. Jalen Waddle, very good talent. Tua Tagovailoa is a very good talent. He got two good running backs, A-Chain, Raheem Mostert. There's a lot of people on the team that's helping him out, but he totally neglected the defensive side the same way that Mike D'Antoni neglected his defensive side. That's what actually caused them their downfall. Because if you look at the stats, Dolphins haven't been able to win a playoff game in under 40 degrees under, Mike McDaniel. And I kind of think that labels them as kind of soft. And you could kind of say the same thing about the Suns teams and the Knicks teams that Mike D'Antoni coached. They were considered soft just because they stayed by the 3-point line, and they kind of changed from the hardcore bumping, being in the paint, that kind of play, to going to the 3-point line. They kind of shaped what the NBA is now today. Some argue that's bad, some argue that's good, but I just think that those two are very similar. And I know Mike McDaniel has a smaller sample size than Mike D'Antoni as a head coach overall, but I just think that their trajectories are on the same path, where when it's all said and done, Mike McDaniel will be probably looked at as an offensive, I don't want to say mastermind, but a great offensive mind, but somebody that couldn't get it done in the playoffs, and somebody that couldn't, do it a certain way, which is similar to what Mike D'Antoni is viewed as in the NBA circle. So I think it's a good comparison, and I think that they are very similar. Do you agree?